And we're back with another episode of the People's Podcast, Savoir, Brooklyn, not Savior, Savoir, Brooklyn, to know Brooklyn. It's your boy, Patagonia Lattes, the purveyor of all things pumpkin spice and pistachio. I'm here with a very special guest at a very special place. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hey, my name is Garnett Phillip, and I am the owner of the Rogers Garden and this new amazing rum bar called the Rum Bar BK. And I'm happy to be on this podcast with you guys.
She said that super duper humbly. Yeah, I just have Rogers Garden. Rogers, listen, if you've been in the town in the last few years, Rogers Garden is the it place. Ladies, that's where you meet your him. Fellas, that's where you meet your her. Whatever you into, you can meet at Rogers Garden on top of dope drinks. I'm still mad she took away my grilled cheese sandwich. I had one grilled cheese sandwich years ago and she never bring it back. But it's a vibe. Rogers Garden is a vibe. It's a community staple. Mm-hmm. You are performing and providing an amazing service for the community. The drinks are hitting at a price point that makes it make sense. Well crafted, great staff. Said with security wants to be extra secure. But shout out to security too. It's all love. It's all good. But yeah, this is important for y'all to get to know Garnett because as it warms up, you need to know where to go, right? So right now, we got Rogers Garden, and we're going to talk about the Rum Bar as well, but let's start at the beginning. So tell the folks, where you're from and what got you to, where you are right now, pre-entrepreneurship. So, where were you born? What's your background? All that good stuff.
So I'm an army brat. My mother's Ethiopian. My dad is Trinidadian. So a very cultural background.
There you go.
And rum was always in our lives. When you go to Trinidad or even our family's house parties, you would see it. And gatherings were a thing too with the Ethiopian culture. So I was always into entertaining people in my home, going to different areas and venues. I love going to eat and drink. So I kind of always grew up with that background. Army brat, so I was born in Virginia. I stayed there for 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks. And then we moved to Germany, Italy, with my mom's family. And then traveled some more and then ended up in Brooklyn. And I've been in Brooklyn all my life. I'm a true Brooklynite. I went to PS 51. I went to Richmond. I went to Brooklyn College, even though I left junior year because I started making more money than the professors.
There you go.
And I was like, I don't need to do this and make more money than you are. I'm
there you go.
I'm not doing this. And I didn't even know what I wanted to major in. So I always knew about entrepreneurship. I have a Trinidadian father who is a serious entrepreneur. And I was an 8-year-old that was holding his money and counting the susus.
Susus. Oh, man.
Right. So as a little girl, I always knew, what it means to see, a couple thousand in an account and go, well, you can't touch it. It's already gone. Versus a regular account that, just keeps moving. So I always understood money, management, investments, and I learned from my father. My mom's family were also big into investments and profits, but my father's family was more true hardcore entrepreneurs. So I grew up in that atmosphere.
Nah, that's dope. And you said a lot there. So where in Brooklyn would you say you're from? Which neighborhood do you claim?
So this is a thing that my family and friends get angry about. So it's crazy. I would definitely say East Flatbush.
Okay.
That Mill Basin, East Flatbush area is where where I'm from.
Yeah.
Crown Heights definitely has my heart because I left that area and came here when I was in my early 20s and I just fell in love with it. Mm-hmm. I love the no too fair zone.
Right.
You know, I love to see just the bars and restaurants and I could walk to these things. Whereas where I grew up was always a too fair zone, and it's more exciting for me over here. It's very diverse. And it was something different for me to see. It reminded me of being the army brat and traveling and having family of, my mom's Italian, Ethiopian. So I'm used to seeing different people and different cultures and different foods. So this made sense.
That's dope. And the reason why I asked that is because I'm dual neighborhood too, yeah. Right? Well, now I'm tri-neighborhood because born in Brownsville. Shout out to the Ville. Never ran, never will. But I also lived in Crown Heights. So my Crown Heights guys get mad when I claim Brownsville.
Yeah.
And my Brownsville guys get mad when I claim Crown Heights. And now I'm in East Flatbush. So it's always I never forget one time on my other podcast, I was bigging up the Ville. Someone was like, "You keep talking all this Brownsville shit, but what about Crown Heights?
Yep.
What about us?"
Yeah, I go through that.
And I was bigging up Crown Heights, and it was just like, "Man, what about the Ville, man? What about the Ville, man?"
Yes.
So it's like
I can relate.
you can't win. But listen, shout out to Brooklyn, shout out to East Flatbush, shout out to Mill Basin, shout out to the Ville, the Star, East New York, Red Hook, shout out to the whole Brooklyn, pre-bike lane, current bike lane.
I'm a 50s girl, 5'7".
Okay.
I'm at the South Shore, so it was like, I mean, we were right there.
Oh man, South Shore. That was my high school rival team. Like
I know all the Tilden guys liked us, you know. Tilden girls hated us, you know.
No, I went to Brooklyn Tech.
Okay.
And we played the same sports, but I told us on the prior episode, it's just like, I never forget when South Shore came to play us in basketball. I wasn't on the team, but I went to the game, and these poor souls didn't have matching uniforms. So some guys had on like white, purple, and gold, and some had on white and purple. And I'm like, yo, y'all Vikings or y'all Grimaces? Like, talking mad shit from the stands. South Shore now is like the Vikings is like one of the biggest basketball schools and football, I think, too, right now in the town right now. Y'all got some money, a new fancy gym. Shout out to South Shore, though, man. And it was definitely back then you couldn't even go across the street by the McDonald's and all that. Like,
oh, yes. We used to always go there, too.
People don't know and Naz, too, because a good friend of mine went to Nazareth.
A lot of friends from Naz. Yeah.
People don't understand what it took to grow up and go to school in Brooklyn as a good kid on the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah, please.
Forget the streets. If you were just a good kid trying to get dressed and go to school.
Do you remember? I used to change my sneakers before I got onto the bus. Because the Veer kids used to, what? They used to be coming on that bus like, run it. And I was like, oh, I just got these Jordans.
Oh, you mean the Flatbush Gardens?
Yeah, well, Veer, yeah. The Veer was kind of tough for us. Remember, Roachman, it was Veer, it was Mill Basin, East Flatbush. We were all that Roy man. That it was crazy.
And then you had to still pass the junction too. People do not understand what it took to be a good kid.
It was horrible.
Growing up in Brooklyn, I think it gave you some kind of grit. So for junior high school, I went to Schuyler. I never forget.
My cousin went there too.
I was super excited because it must be amazing. Because Schuyler
he's a genius.
It was fun, right? But I think going there, we didn't understand the treachery. So I took the long way. So I would take like the 60 all the way there. So you passing through assorted projects.
Everything.
You passing through all types of stuff.
Yes.
And then it's Bushwick too. So the Bushwick kids wear these bright uniforms on with the red sweaters. I never forget, I finally got a JanSport, got all these strings.
Oh,
and this one time, I'm on a 44 bus. These bigger kids get on there, but in my mind, I'm like, I ain't scared of shit but Jesus. In my mind. Outwardly,
no, I was scared.
No, outwardly. Inwardly, I was scared as hell.
Yes.
But outwardly, I was like, nah, I ain't scared of shit. And these kids kept smiling at me. I'm like, they smiling at. Get off the bus. I don't have not a string on my book bag. They untied all my strings. So I went home. I told my older cousin, shout out to Quam. He was like, yo, you got to burn your strings. I said, how do I burn my strings?
Oh, yes.
So then I wound up...
yes, right.
So then I wound up burning on my strings.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen again. But it was that. Somebody definitely told me one day when I was going to the bus that it looked like I had a TV in my book bag. Yeah. A TV in my book bag.
It was rough.
No, it's cool because last time I saw that dude, he was asking me if I wanted fries with that. So it all comes full circle.
I went to Sheepshead Night School to graduate high school early because I just wanted to get to high school.
Smart.
Right.
Smart. So
and it was exciting to see that night school vibe. My dad wasn't kind of happy. Yeah. He was like, "No," I'm like, "Let me go.
High school,
fine."
But high school in Brooklyn was fun. Like it was kind of dangerous.
So fun.
It was kind of dangerous, but it was fun at the same time.
Yes.
And I went to like a good school, so it was just like they let us get away with more. So it was like I definitely cut a lot my junior, senior year, but they would just ask you, and if you was like a known kid, they would ask you, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
And if you pass on your class, they're not going to give you hell about cutting.
Right.
So I definitely started cutting school a little bit. And, stuff would happen downtown, but the projects across from the park was all my cousins.
Yeah, so you're right.
Yeah, I was good. I only got one situation where they stole my hat, and that was in Schuyler running for the bus. And I tried to fight these kids for the bus, for the hat. And Ms. Ned, was like, young man, keep going. They'll kill you. But I don't want to go home without my hat. So Yes, Brooklyn is very near and dear to my heart the same way it is to yours. And it sounds like you had that great entrepreneurial foundation, which I think is great because a lot of us don't have that foundation. I think your paths in Brooklyn are either you grew up with a very street family, which might give you some entrepreneurship, but it might desensitize you to too much stuff.
Right.
Or they have like a city job and you're groomed for that.
Right.
Or they're very well educated and say focus on that. Or you have like yourself, which has like the mix of the education and the army experience and the entrepreneurship from young. And that's the thing too, like you said, once you get that taste of having your own, it's very hard to like punch a clock and report to somebody knowing that this is a stop for you and this is the end all be all for them.
Yeah.
So talk to me about, what that first moment for you of, okay, now I gotta be an entrepreneur. Like, to hell with a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I want to be an entrepreneur.
So I remember bartending while I was in college, and my dad couldn't believe the kind of money that I was making, and he was kind of concerned. So I went home, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. My dad barged into my room because I had this thing, a habit. I would not go to bed till I counted my money. And it was so funny. I laid out on my floor, 1 straight to the hundreds. I pile it up, and I start to count. So he's like, "What are you doing? Tell the truth. Are you stripping?" I'm like, "I can't even dance. So I'm definitely not stripping. So you don't want to see me dance. I could barely make a pole. Forget about dancing on it. Like, no, Dad, trust me. That's what I'm doing. I don't believe you." Like, "Dad, I'm bartending. I don't believe you." And then he went with me to the bar the next day with my brother. And the following morning, he called all his friends. "You won't believe it. This girl is like behind this bar making all this money."
And which bar was this? Is it
Oh,
still
I
around?
was on the corner, Troy Avenue, Atlantic, High and East, in the hood.
Yo, so I'm laughing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm laughing.
Yes.
It's called Essence now, I think.
Essence, yeah. And I was there when it changed the name.
And shout out to
High and
LaRib.
East.
Off camera, LaRib is laughing because we went there with like a coupon, like a Groupon or whatever, and it was like 2 entrees, 2 drinks, 2 apps for like $40 or something like that. And it didn't taste good. Like, I think she might have got food poisoning.
Yeah, I used to be sick all the time.
And it was empty as hell in there. I think we went like on a Saturday afternoon. It was empty. It was like, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
Like
It's a late night thing.
Mr. Williams, and it's just us in there.
Yeah. Definitely a late night thing. But I learned a lot there. That's when I knew a dive bar versus a
it's a hood
cocktail
spot,
bar.
yeah.
Huge difference. Like, I didn't think we even had a shaker.
Oh,
You know what I
man.
mean? So it wasn't this like, it was different. So I was going to school, junior year, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And my dad's like, "Oh, you could be a lawyer, you could be a teacher, you could be this, or work for the city." And I was like, "Dad, I don't want to do this anymore." And I had the kind of father who was always like, you wouldn't spoil me and do things. You always made me work for it. Like, I was working in Key Food after school. I had to work for everything. Like, I kind of thank him for it now. I know why. He didn't want me to depend on a man or anyone to do things for me. So he was really strict with that. He even made an ex-boyfriend of mine take all my gifts away once. It's like, nah, don't spoil my daughter like that. That's not what she's here for. I know.
I'm writing that down because I got to do it now. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, like he had like this weird way of like parenting, but it was wonderful. And then I spoke to him about it. He was a little bit concerned. I said, "I don't want to be a teacher." I said, "What do they make?" I said, "They play one of the most important roles
In society.
in society, and look how they're treated. That's not what I want you to do." So that was a thing for me. I'm like, but then I got to go to school to get a PhD, to do all this, to teach them. Like I said, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to do that at all. I'm not interested in it. And I was in school for political science, and I was like, I don't even know why I'm doing that anyway. I just didn't know what I wanted to do.
That's a lawyer major right there.
Right. So I didn't know what I really, really wanted to do, and I felt kind of lost. I then said, I think I'm going to take some time out and let me just work and figure it out. So my homegirl, Kamala, who I'm partners with in Taco Mommy's, that's an investment storefront I have, Taco Mommy's.
Best street corn this side of the Rio Grande. Grande. And the tacos are fire. And they also got some fire mezcal drinks as well. Right next to Roger's Garden. So after you done boozing up, go to Taco Mommy's. But sorry.
So when I told my dad I didn't want to go to school anymore, and I feel like how am I making more money bartending than these professors and even your colleagues, Dad? So I'm like, it has to make sense to me. So I tried to figure it out. So I started bartending, and then Kamala was like, "Oh, gee, listen, you should get into real estate with us." I was like, all right, that sounds fun because I can still keep my nighttime job in bartend and do this. I was afraid to jump into it only because, again, real estate is like being an entrepreneur. You don't know when you're gonna get your next check. So I think I sold like 10 houses my first month. And I had an owner, the owner of the company said to me, you have to treat this lump sum of money as if you won't have another real estate check. So I didn't listen to him. Now that's how I learned about budgeting as an entrepreneur. That was hard, but I always had my bartending skills to help me financially. So I thought I was big and bold, and I sold 10 houses, like, got this. I was hopping around in Europe and Africa and traveling, taking some of my friends with me, thinking the money wouldn't run out. And then it went into a season, and I was like, oh my God, all this money's gone, 10 houses I sold. And
That's
then
a lot of houses, too.
A lot of houses. You know, I was young,
Shout
I was
to
bad,
you.
I was killing it, I was smart, I knew it. Kamala and I was working hard together. And then I still bartended. And then I realized afterwards, I don't want to do real estate anymore. But I learned a lot from it. Real estate taught me how to, like an entrepreneur, Rogers Garden, this bar, Taco Mommy's. When that money comes in, don't think about blowing through it. Are you crazy? You have like staff to pay, insurance, rent,
Expenses.
bills. And it was a very hard lesson for me to learn, but the lessons were great. Mm-hmm. So I opened a candy and ice cream store. I thought it was great, you know what I mean? And I realized, hey, I can't make my own ice cream. So if you raise the product, because I'm now becoming your competition a couple blocks away, and you're the producer, you're gonna squeeze me. So I couldn't compete, you know? And they wanted me to lower my prices, and I didn't want to lower it because I wanted the community to be, have a fair share of ice cream prices. So they dumbed down the brand, kept the high-end brand for themselves, and gave me the cheaper brand. So that my customers knew the difference. But again, I can't control what I sell. But this, I can control. I can control how to mix. I can control, I could go to your bar and know what you're using and how you're creating and go, well, I'm going to do it better than that. I'm going to make my syrups from scratch. And I'm going to do juices from scratch. You know, I know how to play around with cocktails. But the entrepreneur in me came when I, truly, when I failed with this. So we're here right now filming in the same storefront that broke my heart. I've never felt heartache like in relationships like that. Like I'm kind of a tough cookie, but I do love hard, but it's different. I couldn't bounce back from this. So when I see people who fall and they crumble with love and heartache, I'm like, but I can't relate. I could, but this was different. Like this was like, I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I remember when the candy jars, I'm looking right at it, and it was coming down, I had to walk away. Kevin gave the community all free candy. I couldn't stomach it. So I was like, I had to leave the city for a little bit. So I went to Florida for 10 months, went to Miami. I hated it. Hated it. I missed New York City. I missed the concrete jungle. I missed walking around and seeing the bodegas and going to local beers and talking to people. They don't talk to you like that there. Not knocking you, Miami. I love you, but I'm a New Yorker. Beast, it's a different kind of thing. Like I want to walk around and see you sitting down and chit chat with you and get to know my community. And I felt it very difficult. And I'm not a night person, so I don't like clubs and
Prime 112 this and
yeah.
that club,
You'll never
club
see me in a club like that. It's very rare. Like I'm in bed by like 10 sometimes. Like I'll do a bar. I'm a day drinker. I love to day drink, you know. But that wasn't my thing, so I felt uncomfortable. And then I started to feel like a caged animal when I was there. And then that's when I said, I know my purpose. I cried. I said, yo, I felt so uncomfortable that it felt like I was torturing myself. And then I said to Kevin, I was like, I'm out. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm taking the car, taking the kids. I'm gonna go to New York. He's like, but I'm working on this Tom Ford and Givenchy store. Kevin was an electrician. So he was having fun. He was working on big, fun projects. But I was doing nothing. I had a newborn baby. I had a toddler. And I felt like I was not knocking anyone who is home, but I felt like I was stuck in a home as a housewife, but
You were stifled.
I felt stifled, and I'm like, I like to be in the streets. I wanna work. Like I wanna do my own thing. That's when I realized that New York was for me, and it was my opportunity to become an entrepreneur. That's when. I thought it was when I opened this store. I thought it was when I had the PR company around the corner. I thought it was when we had a sandwich shop across the street. I thought. I was wrong. It was when everything fell and everything was taken away from me that I was like, I had to try again. Because I had opportunities. My homegirl owns BK and Y. I went there with Miriam. I ran it for 5.5, 6 years with her. It was fun. We were killing it together.
You said
BK and Y.
be cake and wild.
They do all the high-end custom cakes, the fly cars and stuff, bags. Oh, me and Em was killing it. We were killing it. But it was still yours and not mine.
I'm about to say, I probably don't know it because I don't eat high-end cakes because I'm a Carvel cake kind of guy.
Yeah,
so,
you definitely, yeah. But it's like, everybody goes there. They all know about it. But then it became anger. And I was like, but I'm doing this for you, not me.
Right.
No. Like, if I could go to sleep or not sleep or wake up in the morning and looking at numbers and my stomach is turned upside down and I'm sick and trying to find out budgets and how we're going to make it, I'm going to do it for myself. So then I remember really, again, being extremely uncomfortable. My magic, I'm the phoenix. It's like I have to be put in a very, very difficult, uncomfortable, unhappy situation and place in my life. And when I begin to feel like this, if I'm not fucking with you, I'm not fucking with you. Like if it's just like I will always be that girl that goes, it's over. I'm not gonna try again. If I felt this way, it's for a reason. I'll cry, I'll get over it, but I'm done with you. Like I just cannot continue if I feel uncomfortable. And I would ask myself over and over again, am I sure I want to do this? I'll even if you were a guy like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? How you feeling? Because that means I feel something's kind of off. And I felt off. I felt like, gee, you don't really want this. Like, wait. And then it became oh shit. Now I'm waking up. I'm resenting you, but you're my best friend. Why am I resenting you? You did nothing wrong. If anything, you gave me an opportunity to flourish with you. But I needed to have my own. So one night I was on the roof and I was crying. Like I was really going through some shit. And I was like, yo, Kev, I can't do this no more, yo. Like it just snapped. And I was like, I can't do it anymore. And he knows me. So he sat up and he was like, okay, what's going on? And I was like, I need my own business. And he sat back. I'll never forget. He sat back and he had a beer in his hand. And he was kind of, like the excitement kind of got in him because he saw it. And I was like, I'm done. I need my own business. So he said up, so what are you gonna do? You know, because I'm that fucking girl that if I say I'm doing something, we're gonna kill it. Like I am going to kill it. So anybody who is my partner or rocks with me knows, like, yeah, I'm giving Shorty this bread because she's gonna invest this money, she's gonna flip it.
I'm motivated right now to go start some shit right now.
Yeah,
myself.
like you're gonna.
I'm about to go start some shit right now.
I'm that bitch when it comes to like I'm so driven, and I'm driven by my failures. I'm not driven by no one else. I don't even look at no one else. I'm driven by how uncomfortable I become.
And a good mentor of mine told me a long time ago, get comfortable with being uncomfortable because that's the price of ambition.
Absolutely.
So that discomfort is you getting pushed in the direction that you need to go into.
Oh, I love that feeling. That feeling is just so, it's so bad
Time
that I
to
know
go.
something good's gonna happen, like real good. And I remember like, I said, but Kev, and then my brain, it was like, because I kept talking to God, and I was like, Kev, but I don't know what to do because I don't want to do cakes. I can't make cakes, and I don't want another candy store that I can't make ice cream. I can't make candy, and I don't want to do sandwiches. Like, I just want my own, but I don't know what to do that. I don't want to lose it again. And I was like, I don't want to be a paralegal. I don't want to open up a real estate firm or a paralegal firm. Like, I don't want to go to school to be a lawyer. I'm 40. What am I going to do? And I was like, the only thing I know how to do is fucking make drinks. And I was like, oh shit, I want a bar.
But
and
you
Kevin
make a
goes,
meal green cheese too. The grilled cheeses are immaculate.
That's
Make
from the
grilled cheese
sandwich
great
shop.
again.
We learned that. So I'm not gonna front. I looked at him and I was like, and I stopped crying instantly. I was like, oh shit, let's open the bar. And Kevin goes, go find a spot. Let's build the bar. Boom. By the next morning, I call my homeboy, yo, Dre, you wanna come in? I need an investor. Boom, let's go. Husband, boom. And then my other homegirl tries, I go, G, can I come in too, please? And I was like, nah, I don't want to, rest my friendship with you. And she's like, G, please, because they know, like, I'm gonna make it happen, like, because I was so hungry. I'm still hungry. It's not enough. Like, people would think that you have this bar and you're making all this money. No, I need to have probably 8 more to even have the kind of lifestyle I want. No, like, that's what you think. I'm lucky to make $1,000 a week on a good week or $1,500 a week on a good week.
I want you to drill more into that because I think sometimes people will see from outside looking in, it's like, oh wow, you have probably one of the most popular spots in Brooklyn, damn near in New York City. Why do you need other businesses?
Because it's not going to give me the income that I want. I'm a real entrepreneur. The lifestyle that I want, I'm not looking to be a millionaire, to a millionaire and be like showing off on Instagram. I want to be able to take care of myself, my family. I want to travel. I want to have a couple of properties somewhere on islands. I just want to live a little bit. You know, I might want to call Diddy and go, yo, can I borrow your boat for the weekend?
Take that.
You know, I just might want to live a little bit, but I can be honest. If the bar, let's say the bar makes $30,000 a week, I can guarantee you $28,500 of that is going out the door by Tuesday the following week. Done. Between buying the stuff back, paying my staff, security, insurance, rent, like, you know, so, okay, then, so if I could do these numbers with one, if I could pay myself $1,500 a week, how do I get to $4,000 a week or $3,000 a week? You know, and I'm like, I have to keep opening up more businesses. So if one business pays me $500 a week, or one pays me $1,000 a week, and one pays me $2,000 a week, that's an income. But you cannot I learned that. You cannot treat your business like a piggy bank. You cannot compromise the business to satisfy your pockets. So you have to be able to understand that when this money comes in, it's gone. And that, like I told you, as a kid, 8 years old, Susu, I could see thousands of dollars in the account and go, you can't touch that because that is other people's money in the Susu. That's not your money. So as an entrepreneur, when money comes in, that's not my money. My money's when I pay myself after.
Love that.
Everyone gets paid.
Love that. So, 2 questions. Are you bringing back food, popcorn, grilled cheeses, or something? I'm not saying to have a whole menu, but are there plans to bring back any kind of food to Rogers Garden?
Well, you missed it. There was food. Sean was doing the grilled cheeses and the jerk like all winter.
I had the jerk last summer. Like, the dude was in the back.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
But there's no plans to do anything like food.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
See, spring and summer, it's my season. You know, New York is alive. I don't know what it is about New Yorkers, but spring, like today is going to be a zoo outside the street.
Yeah, facts.
A zoo. You know, and we get that energy. We feel alive, and food is a thing. Here, too, I have to have food.
Nice. So, we're drinking rum, we're talking about businesses, and you're on the gram right now, traveling Cuba, Jamaica, drinking rum, trying rum. You're like the rum goddess, rum girl. Why rum over any other spirits?
Okay, now we're talking my language. See, rum was a spirit. I'm African. I'm Ethiopian and Trinidad. I'm African. I'm
African too. North African.
North African.
You're East African.
I'm East African. Yeah. So, I mean, I have like a real Ethiopian family where I go to Ethiopia, I go to Africa, so I understand, and I have a real Trinidadian father. I understand. I've spent many summers between both countries.
Please no Morby drinks, though.
I love Morby, I'm sorry. I love
can't
Morby,
do
it's
it.
my thing. I like it extra bitter, too. I don't like it sweet. I do. I love the extra bitter, too. Honey.
You got a Haitian guy right there, Bajan right there.
Come on.
Anti-Morby.
I love Morby. So... when I thought about the spirits, and I was like, I can't really make that much cocktails with vodka and gin and whiskey. And I didn't want
just making a resurgence now. Everywhere I go, it's a goddamn floral gin drink.
Yeah.
Gin lavender everywhere I go right now.
I love Otabal's gin. That's probably the only gin I really love. I won't say that out loud on camera. Cut that, but still.
No, just even anywhere else I go, and I'm trying to find like an old fashioned. They'll have like gin, vodka, and like maybe like one alternative, but a lot of spots are doing like gin for the summer. Gin and vodka.
So you said gin, old fashioned. Rum is the most diverse spirit ever, hands down. I can make KW is back there. She and I have this thing.
Shout out to K-Dub.
Yes. I don't want to release the name, but Kay and I are starting this business with, you know, where we are going to educate on rum and rum cocktails and teach people and have some fun, and we have some great things happening with that. But we truly believe rum is the most diverse. We can make anything that you are drinking that you think you love, whether it's gin, vodka, tequila, from rum, and it'll taste just like vodka, tequila, gin. Like,
if y'all can make a rum old fashioned,
of course we can. That's easy. That's a breeze.
That's
nothing.
I'm getting looks like, yo, that's light work. That's light work.
That's
okay.
light work. What do you mean? That's nothing. We do it all the time.
Listen, I'm like an old fashioned. Well, now I'm kind of an old fashioned guy. I work in Midtown. I drink old fashions on a regular basis. If y'all can make an old fashioned that can rival, I've had your cocktails. They're phenomenal. So I already know that you do your 1-2 thing, but I've never had a rum old fashioned, like your rum punch is sitting, your mezcal is slapping.
You gotta tell the KW.
Rum old fashioned.
Alex.
If y'all could do one of those.
What do you mean? They kill it. Alex. Man. They kill it.
Oh man.
Put this way, that's why with this rum bar, I get a chance to start over really and truly with the staff and how we're gonna train. You need to walk into this bar and go, do you have any whiskey? And I go, no, but I have this Zacapa Negra that tastes just like whiskey. Do you want to try it? Because it does. Remember, you have rum that is aged in whiskey barrels, cognac barrels, wine barrels, brandy. Like, it's just so much
I didn't know
stuff.
that. And we just went to Great Jones's distillery in Manhattan, which is the only legal distillery for whiskey, and took a whiskey tour, and it was great. But I didn't know that. Actually, I did know that. I forgot. Because my lovely wife is Bajan, so there's a big rum culture in the Caribbean. But I always thought of rum as like rum punch, or
exactly.
like I'm at like a Bajan barbecue and they slamming dominoes, and I'm fearful for my life because they slamming dominoes and they getting loud with each other.
That's love. That's a love.
Or I'm at a Haitian barbecue and they scream fighting with each other over
that's
dominoes.
Love. That's even more love.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, are they gonna start stabbing each other? It was like, no, they're just playing dominoes. But rum is the common denominator, like the Bob and Cool, or the Mount Gay, or the Cockspur.
Great rums, you name it.
But I've always had those as like in a rum punch, or maybe like that with like juice. I've never really had like a rum cocktail outside like a rum punch. A rum punch, when I'm making it, just sugar, rum, sugar, like so.
Right. Well, you know, rum was America's first love. You know,
not slavery. It was the rum.
No, that definitely that. But you know, like the spirit. You know, it was rum. Rum was like their first love, and until, you know, all the drama and money and tariffs and this and that they started to make their own stuff like whiskey and vodka. You know, Russia. So, but rum was always the love language. And when Prohibition came, and Cuba was there, everybody treated Cuba like their playground. Americans went there. So you mentioned that you see us traveling. Well, how can I call myself the rum girl and I haven't tasted the forbidden fruit? So yeah, we went to Cuba twice. Yes, we were in the Havana Club's.
Havana Club is really good rum too.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
We were in their museum and we were able to bartend back there. Kay posted a video today about that. We went to LA to meet with the rum champion, Brian, who actually won Rum Enthusiast of the Year. But this is my thing too. We went to Puerto Rico and we were able to go to the distillery tour and to just so many things that we witnessed. We're going to Chicago next week for the Rum Fest. We were just asked to go to Indiana to be judges, and they were asked now to go to Montana, to go to Montana's Rum Distillery in, where is it, Kay?
Vermont?
Colorado.
Okay.
Right? And then, you know, Keegan from Bounty Rum now wants us to go to St. Lucia, which I've been several times.
St. Lucia's dope. Shout out to St. Lucia.
I love it. Been there 6 times. And then Martinique. So if I want to be called the rum girl, and I want people to look at KW and I as we approach this rum industry this way, you gotta see that we're serious about it.
I could tell.
It's a real serious industry, and they take it very seriously. So I read books, she reads books about the books, and we create the cocktails. So I know the rum history, she creates the cocktails. And we're creating this thing. And I gotta tell you guys something too, and I love it. But we were the only black women at the Bacardi private event. We were the only black people at that event. We were, it's shocking, but it's, when you look at those who won Rum Enthusiasts and stuff, I didn't see anybody brown like me or anybody like KW.
Although a black woman did win that drink thing on Netflix, like
I was
Drink
there.
Master.
Yeah, I when they came to New York, I was there with them that evening, and I told her how proud I was, and it was really dope. you know, and it was well deserved. And it's finally
And she was getting hate too.
a lot of hate, and
She was quiet,
dope.
making her drinks, no sabotages, just making her drinks and still got hate.
She was great, and she
Yeah.
was supportive of the team. I feel like slavery and sugarcane. This is a topic. We are sitting here drinking this amazing Dorley's Barbados rum that is delicious from the Four Square Distillery, which is one of the best distillers in the world. But you gotta understand something. How did this come about? Sugarcane. I have a tattoo with sugarcane. I have it on my neck here. Sugarcane. Slavery was a huge part of this rum culture because of sugarcane, and they knew what they could make and how much money they were so profitable. You know, you were taking slaves from all over and just rushing them to the islands. You know what I mean? And it's history, and we can't change it. You know, you see these. You can't change what happened, and I'm not gonna bash brands now because I do enjoy rum. What I do want to do is say, hey, how can I come in as a black woman who loves the culture, who understands the culture, we enjoy the rum. How can we be a part of this movement with you too? Not taking away who you guys are now. I can't stop that. But how do we talk about rum education? How do we promote rum in a positive way? How do we change some things without hurting anyone? Because there's some hurt behind this.
And that's the. It's funny because I have some friends when I'll say things like that, right? Like, you know, we enjoy certain things, right? Like, I have friends who like designer labels, and I'll say, well, they did X, and they're like, because they're not directly impacted, they're like, so? And I think, and in today's society, if you are an empath and you absorb all of the emotional baggage and damage, and, you know, it's almost like if you empathize too much with everything outwardly, you make yourself depressed and anxious.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a middle ground, but to your same point, I think one of the best things you can do is, rather than say, I'm going to abstain and fall back from it because of the history, is to take more control over it.
That's our goal.
And to say, well, okay, that's what I did in the past, but, you know, now brand X, you know,
let us in.
You had the biggest sugar plantation, which is, you know, trash. So now we need X.
Right.
We need X.
Right.
And I think more often than not, you'll find people who are willing to come to the table and have those conversations, especially, you know, a person like yourself. So I also wanted to ask, you know, going back to Rogers Garden, what were some of the highs and lows, or like not some, like, well, some means one. All right, so a high and a low of like your Rogers Garden experience, because I remember when we met you there with that grilled cheese I keep talking about, and you know, at the door you were very welcoming, and we started talking, and I'm like, she has great customer service.
Oh wait, I did make you guys your cocktail.
Yes.
I was behind the bar.
Yes.
Pandemic had me stressed.
Right.
Honey.
But you had great customer service, and I told myself, in my mind, I'm like, she got to either be the manager or the owner, because you had great customer service, but it's just like, your customer service was different. It was like you was trying to get to know us.
Yeah.
So, and that made an impression on us, because, you know, years later, it's 3 years later, and we still, you know, in contact, you know, see you in the gym. We go to Rogers Garden, we go to different spots. Tell me about a high and a low of your Rogers Garden experience to date.
The high.
Just one. I'm sure there's been several, besides you filming my fake ex, Nessa Preppy there.
No. The high was when I thought I was not going to make it. I opened July 13th, 2020. You couldn't pay me to believe that anybody would show up. It was impossible. I didn't think it was going to make it. No way. I just didn't think I was going to make it. You know, it's a Google, what is a fucking pandemic? What? Like, you know, I was like, what's happening here? And then to see that I was going to lose everything. But the day that we opened, there were lines and lines and lines
That'd
and
be packed.
lines around the corner. I had no more alcohol. I didn't know what to do. Wow. The ice machine couldn't keep up. And it was a very, very, you know, I was so high on the energy of working. But that night when I crashed, I was so emotional. I was like, damn, like, I think I can make it. The high was seeing the people come out in the pandemic masks on. They didn't care if they were 6 feet apart. They didn't care. They wanted to support a black woman. And that was probably the most magical thing. I've seen so many things, but that will be a memory that I will never forget because that's when I knew I had a chance, you know.
No, that's amazing.
The low.
Or a learning experience.
The low was when the governor kept changing rules after rules after rules, and even the attorneys were like, I don't know what the fuck to tell y'all.
Hochul or Cuomo?
No, of course it was Cuomo.
Okay.
Come on. I used to love that my hate just took over because I was emotional. And I was like, what do you want from me?
No Cuomo.
So it was changing. It was just, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't win. It was just like I was paranoid, and it got to the point where I gained 40 pounds because of it, because I couldn't go home. Because you will walk into the bar after someone else just walked into the bar and go, that's wrong, I'll give you a fine if you don't fix it. So how am I gonna go to sleep? Would you go to sleep? Nah. So I turned into being this gym head that was crazy to, I'm too tired to go to the gym. Oh, and then here it is now. I'm at the bar from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. and I didn't see my kids. Like, it was just a lot that was going on, and it was hard. That was definitely, and then the winter when it came, I remember like shoveling and crying because it probably snowed like 3 times a week for 6 friggin' weeks straight. And it was like customers couldn't sit in the snow, you know, like it was just too cold. And they were trying. Like, you know what? I've never had a day that not one person has been in that bar. I've never had a day. Even if someone looked out the window and saw it was just me and they by myself, they would still come there and buy one drink and sit in the snow. And I'm like, you know what? That has to be love, you know? And I don't know.
It's an official spot, but you're also responsive too, because I remember when I saw you randomly somewhere and I was like, you took all my drinks off the menu and then you put like one of them back because you had some fire mezcal drinks, took them off, and then kind of revamped the menu and then added stuff back. So I think you're also very in tune with your customers and very responsive to them as well, which is great. And I think that pandemic time honestly was, in 10 years when they write about the pandemic in history books, it was a lot for a lot of people because I enjoyed it in that shelter in place meant I didn't have to put a suit on and go to work, and I got to just be home all day with the family. But what sucked about it was, you know, a lot of my favorite spots didn't survive.
It was scary.
It was scary in that regard. And then the spots that did survive were charging $30 for takeout drinks. And I was paying it because I wanted to, you know, support and keep spots open. So I think, you know, parts of it were beneficial in that it forced people to kind of recalibrate and, you know, go on Zoom and reconnect with a lot of people.
I hated all of that.
I actually, for the first 3 months shelter in place, I thought it was great. But after a while, it wore on me, and I was like, I want to be back outside. I don't want my kids to, you know...
think this is normal?
I don't want them to normalize this, too, because a lot of kids, like my son was born in 2019, and a lot of kids that didn't go to school... So my son was in school by the time it was 2020, put him in private school, and I was like, this costs a lot of money, but I want my son to be able to, you know, get the full experience of socializing from young. A lot of people who kept their kids home for 2 years, 3 years.
Nah, I didn't do that. Nope.
Their kids aren't social.
Our teachers, they go to arts and letters. Their teachers knew. They said to us, we know when they transferred to arts and letters, they're like, we could tell your kids were in blended learning. I said to my kids, this is not normal. You know when I felt depressed? When it really hit me? Was when Beanie Man and Bounty had the clash, the verses.
Yeah.
I got dressed up in my house. Okay? Mind you, I just flew to Jamaica to go see Buju perform. Me, I'm flying to your concert. That's just who I am. To see us get dressed up and pretend to do our hair and, you know, pretend to have a good time, and then it ends, and then to see this other DJ guys come on, and I was like, I sat on the bed, and I was like, I can't do this. And he kept like, what do you mean? I was like, this is not normal. He's like,
that was fun. That was fun times, though.
It was
Versus
not fun
times,
to me. No. And he said, this is fun.
Dipset versus Jada?
That was wonderful, but still wasn't fun to me. And I was like, well, I was in LA. We were outside when that came on. That was how I was in LA watching that.
Okay.
But it was it was sad to see that we couldn't leave.
Wait. So Keisha Cole versus.
Oh, I didn't. That was
No?
that
No?
was terrible.
No?
No, I'm talking about no. Nah, that was terrible. But it really hurt me when it ended. And it ended, and I was like, if we were in Jamaica, we would have went to the after parties right now. It would have been crazy. We would have went to the friend's house and had drinks. And I was like, I don't want to live this way. Absolutely not. And then my passport expired, and you couldn't get one renewed. I felt trapped. I was like, how many times am I gonna go to Miami? How many times am I gonna go to LA? And I was like, make it stop.
That's better than us. We was going to Jersey, like we was
I
going to
know.
the same resort, the golf resort in Jersey, and it was nice, but it was just like the first time was like cool, and then a couple times to the Hamptons, a couple times upstate, a couple times to the south. It's just like
Not enough, yo.
I'm an introvert, and I kind of like being home, but at the same time, I like the option of being able to be
Yes.
somewhere else.
Yes, I miss that. You know, so back to what you were saying, I think to those who are listening, who want to be entrepreneurs or who just want to be successful in anything you do, you have to always be, I don't know, I'm always uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. Like, people say, you always come in looking upset or you're angry. It's not that, I'm not.
He's always on go mode.
I'm always on go mode. And I'm never in a comfortable setting.
But I think for whatever you want to be successful in, you have to work hard. And I think there's one thing that you can't skip is the hard work. So even if you want to be, I got friends in the MTA, right? Some of them started out as conductors on the train, then they were the train operator, and now they're like the dispatcher in the tower dispatching trains.
That's dope.
But they had to, along the way, every day as a conductor, show up on time. Right, as a train operator, always show up on time, don't have accidents, and then take these tests, do well on the exams, and also not smoke any weed, right? And
It's a lot of pressure, right?
right, but it's like then they get to a point where they're making solid money with a 6 to 2 schedule, and even friends I got who do sanitation, right? They show up,
Yeah.
or even in Amtrak, right? I got friends that family doing that too. They show up, work their 8-hour shift in 4 hours. They do what they do fast. And then outside of that, they do other things while on the clock, right?
Yeah.
And I think even then, whatever you want to do, if you just show up, you'll be treated as somebody that just shows up. But if you go above and beyond and you do the best, like I say all the time to people, and even my kids, I'm like, listen, you get far by just doing your job, right? If I go to a sandwich shop and I want to order a sandwich and I want pepper jack cheese, and you say, oh, we don't have any pepper jack, period. That's different than we don't have pepper jack.
But I have something else.
But we have
this
zesty Munster or this.
That's my problem.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I think that latter person is doing their job because they're creating experience. And I think when people don't understand is that regardless of what you do, whatever uniform you wear, whether it's janitor, store manager, transit clerk, cop, whatever you do, if you do your job the way you're supposed to do it, regardless of, if you treat every single person as if this is the person that's going to promote you, you're going to go further because you never know who you're going to meet, how, when, who, where. When I was looking for a house, our first house rather, I was meeting realtors and I'm wearing sweats. So they're like, okay, who's this black, right? And then when everything shakes out and they realize that I'm a somebody.
Y'all doing it. Yeah.
Then they want to try to figure it out, but it's like,
Right.
I could have brought you 5 more clients.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not even like it was white people treating me like that. It was people that looked like me that was looking at me as if, bro, what are you doing here? Right? So it's those kind of experiences that I tell people, like, I live everything I say. So when I deal with my clients, I don't care if you're spending a lot or a little. I treat everybody, like, I respond to your emails as fast as I can. I treat people the way I want to be treated. And even when I go to restaurants and bars and that kind of stuff, I give people a couple opportunities to, like, show me who they are, right? Like, I don't, automatically jump out the window and assume people are whatever. I try to lead by giving everybody respect. I don't care if it's the dishwasher, the runner.
That's how I feel.
I give everybody the baseline level of respect. And it happens all the time. We go places. Even recently, I was at a work retreat, and a bouncer at, like, the spot we went to for the retreat didn't want to let me in. And when he found out what was, like, it was a corporate event, now all of a sudden he's turning purple. And I'm like, I came here with respect and you chose to jump out the window, right? And even at some restaurants we go to, I give people a couple of times, but then I'm like, I go to the manager. I'm like, listen, old boy, tighten him up. I don't want anybody getting fired, but I'll say, listen, you know me. I've been coming here for a long time. I don't ask for nothing free. I don't ask for nothing off my bill. All I want is consistent service. Old boy was rude to my mama. A dude was rude to my mama, and it took everything in me to not. I didn't want to punch him. I wanted to slap him. Right? He was rude to my mom's, and my mom looking at me like, please no. So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna, get wild in here, but I'm like, listen, dude was rude to my mom, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and then they spoke to the dude, and he got better eventually, but it's just like, I think people don't understand the power of just doing your job.
My dad told me when I was younger, growing up, he always said this to me. Like every time I would date somebody new, he would always tell me, I don't care if he is a janitor or he pumps gas at the gas station. If he really loves you and cares about you, G, don't judge anybody, because those are the ones who will do anything for you. And I think I've taken that with me. And I think I hear my staff say things like I'm too nice to people that that work there, other staff members, and I think I just have a kind heart. I don't see you as bigger or better than me. I don't. I just think I just took a chance at something, but I still need you to do this. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not. Who am I without you guys? Like, I can't run this bar that has all the people by myself. I need you as my team. So of course I love you. Like, when I tell them I love them, I really mean I love you. Like, I will tell I love you. I kiss them. Like, I love y'all. Like, I do. Like, I definitely do. No one knows that, but it's a lot of pressure when you have all these people that text you and go, yo, G, I need a little extra this, or G, I need that, or G, and Kevin and them will laugh at me. He's like, oh, I'm like, but I'm not. If it was me, I don't want that too. I remember when I was 22 in a law firm, and I needed to move. I wasn't comfortable where I was staying, and my boss gave me my check in 2-3 checks in advance, and I was able to quickly move, without me even having to ask her anything. So that meant so much for me, and it took me. I worked even harder for it. Like I did.
You
I worked
work
10
harder
times
for people,
Yeah.
and that's it, like that, because Lil Rib sometimes jokes on me, like sometimes you give people too many chances, but then when I don't give it too many chances, like being kind-hearted, I think you have to keep that, but you have to realize also that everybody won't appreciate it.
I know.
And it's more about you than it is about them.
Yeah, I'm learning the hard way.
But it's tough because, again, people that don't appreciate it won't appreciate it.
Right, but those who do, they value you, like.
And then when they kicked out the whip and they can't get access to you no more, now all of a sudden, it is what it is. But talk to us more about now. So that was the Rogers Garden experience. Rum Bar, when are you opening up? What's going to be the? Oh yes, please. Rum Bar, location. When are you opening up? What you doing in terms of like what can we see on the menu? All that good stuff.
The Rum Bar, this feels like, remember, I lost my first love here. Like I never had my heart broken like this before. This was really bad.
The ice cream candy store
was here. So in this exact location.
When was that though? Like what year?
2011 to 12. Here, right here, this backyard.
That was pre-bike lane. With a bike lane now.
No. It was
yeah.
in the richer parts, like Cobble Hill.
Yeah.
It wasn't on this side. Yeah.
I'm saying because now there's ice cream on. I ain't saying where, but there's ice cream in the area now.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll explain that later. We don't say any names.
Yeah.
But so there was kid parties here, and I'm talking about. I had candy like where I was in articles with Ralph Lauren's daughter. So it was Dewey's, Dylan's Candy Bar, and the Candy Rush. And I was the only black girl damn near in the convention centers in Chicago with these big dogs. And I remember being so scared. I was like, I don't want to do this. I remember calling like, I want to go home. I feel so uncomfortable. I was in Chicago. But this is the same place that broke my heart. And when we opened the taco spot, the day of, I saw Kevin looking real uncomfortable. He didn't say anything to me. So the next day, he's like, I got to tell you something. I'm like, what? He's like, so they just called and said they want to end the lease. I'm like, oh, like two years? And like early? I'm like, okay, well, I could save up some money by then and do this. He's like, no, like a week. I'm like, wait, what? So, imagine you just put your bread into
Something new.
On that day. Mind you, I was still trying to make back up what I spent to get Rogers open. And it felt like every time I got a little bit of a
step forward,
something new came. So landlord on Rogers said to me, next door is opening up. I'm like, okay. She's like, you want? I was like, no, I can't take that. And then Kevin goes,
she has both.
Right, she owns that whole building. And she's young too, she's like our age. And Kevin was like, well, if you don't take it, somebody else will. And I'm like, oh my God, stop it. Get out of my ear. So I was
you don't want
like
a random
he's like,
smoke shop there.
Right.
Stop opening smoke shops in Brooklyn,
right.
please.
So he's like, yo, G, if they open a bar right next to you and they want to serve rum, you have no say so. And if they were smart, they would open up a bar right next door to me. Why not have the spillover?
Everybody that can't get into Rogers Garden
can go right there. And Kevin goes, they don't got to do no marketing, no advertising, no nothing. Because you do all the work for the spot right next door. And then Lana said, I could, open up. And I was like, I don't want to do it. So then I thought about it. I was like, let's do it. And I started making my phone calls, see who was interested. Boom, we did it. So then that money went. So when Kevin said to me, nah, they want to leave, it triggered me because he says, well, if I rent this out, G, it'll be a 10-year lease, like our spots, with an option to renew every 5. And I was like, so I'll be in my 50s by then? I was like, damn, what am I gonna do? He's like, it's now or never. So we're here today. And it was not easy. I know this is gonna be a special bar. This is gonna be the bar that lets the world know she's serious about rum. You know what I mean? Because it was way harder to get this opened. No one owns the building. It was 10 times more harder. I had to get Letitia James, the AG had to get involved to make sure my liquor license went through. Temp.
Shout out to Tish James.
That's my friend, that's family. And she was like, that's what's happening because I called in distress. All local political leaders, local friends. I even called.
And 1 second, I want to interject. I think people don't understand the license itself is not that expensive.
No.
It's the everything else around it to get it pushed through.
It's
Sometimes
horrible.
that takes forever.
It's horrible. I mean, I even gave when Jermaine, I was like, Jermaine, you be selling alcohol too. I gave Jermaine my liquor guy, that's a community thing. It was very, very difficult to get this open. The last 3 months have been hell. An SLA judge approved our liquor license in November.
Say Liquor Authority for those that don't know SLA.
The Liquor Authority.
Yeah.
Amazing. We had to wait. We still had to wait, but it's such a long process. The state was backed up. It's like, not that they don't want to give it to us, it was just they were so backed up. But mind you, you're backed up. Many other bars, people are paying rent and no money coming in. So if I took out loans to open this and use credit cards like I did with Roger to open this, how am I paying this back without any sales coming in? So it's coming out of my pocket. So when, it's not for the easy. It's not for the lighthearted.
For the faint of heart.
It's very difficult. And but I feel like if it was easy, everyone could do it. And this has to be a special thing. This is gonna be special. I can feel it. This is gonna be the baby girl that I wanted.
There you go.
I got 2 boys. I tried for the girl. I was like, I want a girl. I couldn't get a girl.
It's never too late.
So mine just 3. I wanted a girl. So the first 2 are the boys, and this one is my little girl that I could play with her hair and buy her little skirts.
It's right here.
And buy her little sandals. Let's get our nails done together. Let's go to brunch, babe. I want a little girl so bad. And this is my little girl.
There you go. No, that's awesome. So when are you opening up officially?
So I don't care what is going on. We're opening up this doors April 26th. I do not care.
Is that a Saturday or Sunday or Friday?
I would never do it to myself. It's definitely a Wednesday. I wouldn't play myself. Okay. I've never opened up any of those bars on a weekend. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday for a reason. And even Wednesday's kind of pushing it. I'd rather Tuesday because it gives me some time to make my mistakes, have a little bit of hiccups, somebody mess up with the wrong order. But imagine opening up in this neighborhood on a Friday, Saturday. What? You're talking about
everybody.
You can't handle that.
And I will say, when Taco Mommy's opened up, I was like, I'm going there now. I drove by. I said, no, I'm not.
It was packed.
You couldn't get inside there.
No, it was crazy.
Out the window like this. It was hanging out the window.
It was crazy.
With a taco in their head. You couldn't get in there.
You thought that was bad? nothing was like when Rogers, that first summer from Rogers Garden, it was nothing I've ever seen before.
Wow.
And this is special to me. Again, I feel like I failed here. I feel like I kind of fell to my knees with this. I'm telling you, I've never had my heart broken before like that. Except for my mother died. I've never had my heart broken. Different kind of loss, though. It's a different kind of loss. I've never felt that kind of pain before.
Condolences on that.
Thank you. It was very difficult. And I know she's over me watching all this stuff happen, but she should have been here. She was actually here with the candy store and everything and cleaning up, helping me do things and putting my jars together and, watching the babies over here. And, like she would be upstairs, babysitting while we're downstairs. So I'd bring her some ice cream. So it's been quite the last 6 years of my life. So I think after she passed away, that's when I said to Kevin, I was on the roof, I was like, I can't anymore. Like, okay, so true story, the candy rush started to fail too because she found out she had cancer, and I would not care about the store. I'd be rushing her to go get chemo and see if she was okay. And so, I knew this was gonna come to an end eventually because I couldn't put any love into it. I was taking care of her.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get several businesses. You only got one mama.
That's it.
Nah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So April 26th, we will pull back up. We'll spin back and make sure we pull up to support the Rum Bar. K-Dub's gonna be in the building.
K-Dubs.
All right. So now we got our lightning round of questions, which is fast questions about light humored stuff. No wrong answer, but you might get like IG, Twitter, Facebook reactions. People always get like so offended based on the reactions.
Here we go.
Okay, so first one, 86, keep, or, so either 86 it, you eat it every day, or you just put it on the menu. You got curry chicken, stewed chicken, and fried chicken.
You got it, 86 curry.
So again, everybody be 86 and curry, and then I go in my comments and people are like, "What are you doing? You hate curry?"
No, but it's sick after 2 days a day. You can't curry's funny. You can't play around with curry. You can't reheat it twice in the stove. You can't do that with curry. I mean, if you're a real Caribbean person, you know that, right? Oh, come on. You don't know that?
No, I do. Listen, I agree. I'm staying there for comment on camera.
From the Bayesian over here, I know you know. You will be on that toilet for days messing around with that curry. You better have a chicken.
People just be getting offended when they see that they joint got curved. So you 86 and curry, and then between jerk and fried, which one you eating every day?
Jerk.
Okay. Consistent. All right. Now, if you had to pick one, rum punch or mojitos?
Ooh. Oh, well, if it's my rum punch, my rum punch. If it's anybody else's, mojito.
Okay.
And which kind of rum are you using? So I have to ask. Like, I need to see it. It has to be, if it's not down Q, I don't know. Planners, Diplomatico. I'm kind of, I'm a rum girl. I got my thing,
Okay. 86, drink every day, or just put on your menu. Bajan rum, Cuban rum, and Jamaican rum.
Come on. First of all, if I could have Cuban rum in this country, I would. I mean, I flew out the country to try it. That's not a fair question because all three have great rums. How do I answer? I'm a rum bar.
You can 86 one if you want.
You said Cuban rum, Jamaican rum,
and
or
Bajan
rum? I can't.
You can't?
How? It's impossible. First of all, I'm not saying even on camera anyway. And I wouldn't even do that because they're all amazing. Like, how do you 86 any of them? That's hard. I mean, see, I love Jamaican rum.
Ray and his nephew will
put
you to sleep, though.
Right. Jamaican rum, a lot of funk. So I don't like a lot of funk. Bajan rum, I love Bajan rum. Cuban rum, oh my gosh, it's just delicious. It depends which rums. If you said to me, gee.
That's my follow-up question, but I wanted to put you in the hot spot for a second.
Nah, you going to get me banned from the rum stuff.
We
I
don't
can't
need
respond.
That.
No comment. The lawyer's in the building. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth at this point.
Okay. Last question. Give me your top 5 rums in no particular order.
Ooh. Havana Club, the actual one from Cuba. Oh, right now I'm kind of feeling the Don Q. I know it's crazy, but I'm really feeling the Don Q.
Where's Don Q from?
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
I'm feeling the Don Q. Cristal it's oh my god, you can put it in anything. It's just so good right now. Oh my god, I'm definitely feeling Bounty Rum.
Where's that
from St. Lucia.
Okay.
Babo Cool, Haiti.
Bob and Cool. 5-star, 8-star. Which one we doing?
All the above. I love Babo Cool. Appleton, Jamaica.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Cockspur, Dorley's, Mount Gay. It's just so difficult. Oh,
Sponsor us.
Guyana, El Dorado. Like, I mean, you got. This is so much.
All the Grenadians is going to ask, what about Rivers? What about Rivers?
Rivers is really strong, and so
Strong
is
as
the Workman.
Yeah.
That one, oh my god, I can't. But they do have some really good rum in Grenada.
They do.
Grenada has really good rum, like they do, but it hits home.
I think that jab is powered by that strong ass rum.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's like Trinidad and punching.
Shout out to all the Grenadians.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, listen, this has been a great conversation. Before we head out, please plug all of your businesses, and again, tell them when this is opening up.
Okay. On IG, it's I am Garnett Phillip. At the Rogers Garden. At Taco Mommy's BK. And the Rum Bar BK.
Is that RHUM or is that RUM?
No, RUM.
Okay.
We can go to another day discussing why RHUM versus RUM, and we'll talk about that another time.
Perfect. And the grand opening or the soft opening is April 26th.
No soft opening, no grand opening. I don't apply that kind of pressure to myself because I'm already a naturally stressed out person. I'm just going to open the doors and go, we're open.
Pull up. April 26th, this opens up. You can pull up. And you can grab these here, these great tumblers.
Yes, let's do that for the first week. Let's see how it goes. Let's do that. It'd be kind of cute. We can probably make a cocktail out of this.
Bomb.
Right, KW?
Big bong, yep.
Right, we do that? Have some fun with this?
I'm cool with that.
Put one of the punches in this for the first, for the summer run?
Here we go.
Sneak outside with
Here
it.
we go.
Don't tell nobody.
Savoir, Brooklyn. Another great episode. Again.
Not Savior.
Not Savior. Please
don't come in here and say Savior. We're gonna kick you out.
Right, it's Savoir.
Savoir, honey.
Right. So, listen, Garnett, I know you're busy as hell. You've been getting texts all throughout this. Appreciate you again. Follow us, Savoir Brooklyn, on IG, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere else. Over and out.